Final community, hello, Happy New Year and Bonne année, like we say in France, or Braves Mad in Brittany. Well, this is my vinyl tag for 2020. My best finds for this year. This is this one, Pierre avec Spooky Tooth. Spooky Tooth was an English psych band from the 70s, and Pierre was the well-known French composer of what we call the musique concrète, and they made this album together. I don't have the. It was in the 70s, and best find as well. World Party, Goodbye Jumbo. I'm very happy with this album because I already own it in CD, and well, yeah, I love this one, and it is pretty rare here in France. The best new music from 2019 is this band. It is indie rock, power pop, and yeah, it's a great album, and I didn't choose it because I was part of this excellent vinyl club in France at the time, and so they sent it to me. I didn't know anything about this band, and I found this really great, and it is on colored vinyl. So it is the Young Sinclair, Out of the Box. Well, I've got a problem with the third question because I don't understand it. So I don't know. I've watched maybe 10 vinyl tag videos to understand what means novelty records, but I'm not sure. But I have my answer, and it is this. It is a compilation by Jean-Jacques Perret. And Jean-Jacques Perret created this weird instrument, like a weird piano, a synthesizer, in the 40s, I think, and called onduline. You can see the onduline here, and you have a booklet like that, in with explanation on each tracks here, and yeah. This guy was very famous in the 50s and maybe not so much in the 70s and then the 80s. But when the first band, the first French touch band came in around Paris, I think it was Air, they asked him to come to make music with them. But there is a generation was so different that it was not so easy. But yeah, so you have here this record, and one side with original soundtracks, like the soundtrack of a film called La Vache et le Prisonnier, which is very famous in France, and on one side, and on the other side it's only animals, like or noises like banjo, clarinet, mandolin, string bass, percussion without the string, the cat. Jean-Jacques Perret. Homage on hardcover. Sorry, I don't have so much things to... So, it's a classic one. Sonny Rollins on Blue Note and Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson, it was in 84. Yeah. Classic one. I got problem as well to understand deep cuts, but I think I know what it means now. It is to dig inside an album something very special. So I've got two answers. The first one is Véronique Sanson. This album is called Hollywood because she left France. She is a French singer-songwriter and piano player, sorry. And she went to USA, Los Angeles, to marry Stephen Stills. And there she decided to make this album. And the first track of the album, called Bernard's Song, Il est de nulle part, is very funky, and she is not a funky artist per se, but on the guitar here you can find Ray Parker Jr. Maybe it could help. The second answer is from these records. It is called, the label is called Les Tréteaux International. It is trash music. You are not supposed to find that in a collection, but these compilations, very bad compilations, were produced by a guy called Daniel Janin, and he was a composer, and he liked to compose funky tracks, and on each of these compilations you can find some tracks composed by this guy, and these tracks are very good. So you just have to find that, Les Tréteaux, and these records you can find them for €1 here, maybe less. Show something funky. Well, I discovered this in 2019. It is Buddy Miles, Name Changes. Okay. Close buddies in the shelves. Well, I've got a section called Psych Prog, and in that section there is Faust, and after Faust you have Merel Frankhauser. You see, this is like psych folk music, and this is krautrock, and it's very weird to see them very close, because it's like you have here an angel and here the devil. Yeah. Show a band you have seen live. I saw these guys in 1991. It is an indie rock band from Finland. These guys are two brothers and another guy on drums, and it's my favorite band from the 90s. I have all their records here, mostly in CD, and when this one was just on the market. I see them in the south of Brittany live, and as I was a journalist at the time, I asked to interview them. So yeah, 22 Perco from Finland, and they split it. I don't know, maybe 6 years ago, and they are coming. They are reuniting now. So maybe I could see them for another time in the future. See a record you would like to get a no G. Well, it is a psych record called Obsolete, and it is a record from Dashiell Hedayat, a French singer-songwriter, you can tell. And this is a record that was made with the Canterbury band Gong as musicians, as a backing band. The artist that you have all the records, well, just I read that. She was shy yet willful. She was quiet yet ready to strike like a small poisonous snake. She was her own invention, secretive, open, impossible to pin down, and impossible not to love. And this small presentation is signed Patti Smith, and the artist is Lizzie Mercier-Desclous. I made a video on this artist few months ago. Yeah, Lizzie Mercier-Desclous. She was from Paris, but went to the States, became journalist, and then she made several albums, and all of them are very good. Not maybe the last one, but yeah. And I've got all the records except one. It's a duet with Patti Smith. But yeah, Lizzie Mercier-Desclous. Label center. Well, it's a tough one for me. I can't say here you have a really beautiful label. I don't know that. So, but as you can tell, English is not my mother language, and as I was in England last month, I saw this one. It is Lindisfarne, and the title of the album is Folk on the Tyne. It's sci-folk from the 70s, English, and it's written here, pink scroll. I don't know what a scroll is, so I went to see the shopkeeper and just asked him, what is the problem with this record? Oh, he just said to me, there is no problem, but you should know that this label is pretty rare. So it's just pink scroll means that this is a pink label. So, and then you can read, it could cost you £25, but it's only £10. Yeah. Is it a good purchase or not? I don't know. Well, this is my answer. Pre-ban and well, they are both very famous. This is the first album by the Buzzcocks from Manchester, a punk band, and only on this one you have on vocal Howard Devoto, and Howard Devoto created what is for me one of the best post-punk band you can find, and it was very early after the creation of the punk rock. It is Magazine. Well, it is so good. Yeah. So our Devoto created punk with the Sex Pistols, okay, in Manchester in the Buzzcocks, and then created Magazine, which is for me one of the best rock bands at the time. A book. Well, still in Manchester, I've read this book, Manchester Music City, 76 to 96, and it is written by John Robb. John Robb was and is a member of the Membranes. The Membranes is a punk band created in Blackpool and now relocated in Manchester until 83, I think. So Manchester Music City, as he is one of them, it is very you have so much information here that you can't get from I don't know, a journalist. An underrated record. Well, I show this one. I could show another one from this guy. It is Pride from Robert Palmer. I think this guy was very good, and he does not have the reputation he deserves. I think Robert Palmer, a guy or a band that makes always good records. I take a French one, and it is Etienne Dao. It is a French pop artist, and he is still on stage. And this is this record is from '88. And yes, it's an indie pop style of records, and it's very good. Yeah, Etienne Dao, and this hardcover is made by Guy Peellaert, who created the cover for Diamond Dogs from Bowie, and it's only rock and roll from the Rolling Stones. But he was very famous because he made a book called Rock Dreams. An album with different hardcover. It's this one, it's the first album from the Canterbury scene band Caravan. And I think it must be an early reissue, I don't know. But you can find this one in with two different covers. 3 albums from the same artist. Show this one. It's Henri Texier, Varec. All here are reissues. So sorry, but it's the case. And then you have the second one, Amir. This picture was taken in Brittany. And Accord et Acri. Henri Texier made jazz fusion records at the time. This guy has his own style, and I think that these three records can be placed in the same style, the same way to compose music. Yeah, and they are all reissues, and they were all reissues between 2018 and 2019 by JMS. I don't have a favorite drummer. No, I don't think like that. I don't know. I decided to show these two albums. It is Tenderloinus and the Shakedown featuring the 22 Orchestra. The drummer here is Youssef Days and Youssef Kamal, and the drummer of the duet is Youssef Days. Why am I showing that? It's because Youssef Days will put on the market a record on his own. I think in the early 2020. Yeah, Youssef Days. And the last one, a record that will turn 20 this year. It's this one, Germain, Tourist. You can't tell if it's an electronic album or if it's a jazz album. I think it's both. Germain, Tourist. So this is all I wanted to share today. Thank you for watching, and see you soon. Bye.